Okay, let me see if I can adjust this camera just a bit before you all get here. There we go. That's a little better now. I'm more centered. Okay. Let's see if the screen comes up. We'll see if anybody beats Jacob tonight. And we'll see what we get. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. 5x5 from Jacob before my screen ever comes up. It's got to have the fastest internet in the world, I swear. All right. Good evening, crowd. Happy Tuesday. Crazy couple of days since last we all got together on Saturday, huh? So, first off, wanted to say some prayers for everybody up in the northern Great Plains. I saw there were some wicked storms that went through Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and Wisconsin today. So I hope you guys, if you're even here, I hope you guys are all okay. So looks like that was a rough one. And I guess it's not supposed to stop. There's another one right behind it, and I guess Chicago gets it tomorrow. So anybody who's out in the upper Midwest, get ready to get dumped on. The rest of us been dealing with heat. God, 90 degrees around most of the country here. I guess unless you're up in Montana or out in San Diego, I think it was 90 degrees everywhere else in the country today. But dog days of August. So, okay. Update on the October gathering for everybody. We have so far 183 people RSVP'd. Literally, I'd say probably from 2/3 of the states east of the Mississippi. Obviously, a lot of them, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, North Carolina, but representatives from a lot of other places. I talked to Ed today, Prepper Nurse 1, spent about an hour on the phone with him. He is going to come down for this. He's going to tie his trip to his West Virginia property, which is about 4 hours from where we are, about 3 hours from me, into that weekend so he can come down and hang out with everybody. So if y'all want to meet Ed, Ed will be down here. Would still love to get Prepper Now and TJ and Angry Prepper down here. We'll see if they can, will, want to, whatever it is. Excuse me. But Ed said that he's coming. So, that'll be fun. Be nice to meet him in person. So, obviously by now, unless you have been living under a rock, you know what happened yesterday with the FDA. I have got quite a few emails, and I just want to put this out to everybody because, as usual, there's BS going around on the internet. And I read the order from the FDA. Yes, it is a little confusing the way it reads, but just so you guys want to know, whatever they named this thing now, the Pfizer vaccine is approved for people 16 and over, but it is still emergency use for people under 16. So that's where the confusion's coming in, that it's still EUA, that it's approved, whatever it is. It's two different age groups, approved for one and EUA for the other. So just wanted to clear that up for anybody that wasn't sure, because like I said, the letter from the FDA was a little bit gobbledygook. So, of course, now what that means is that there is mandates can be legally done. Okay, now how this all works for each state by state, because again, guys, remember, health laws are state, not federally mandated. Okay, so that's where you got all the issues with health insurance and things like that. They're state by state. So yes, like Montana, I think there was another one, I forget what the other one was, has said that employer mandates are not legal in Montana. Yeah, state can do that, and the feds can't overrule it. So just giving you that. So now, of course, we get into all the issues with our employers, our jobs, and whatever. And I will tell you guys this, I am right in the middle of it with you. I've got a client that I am supposed to start work. I was supposed to start on Monday, then it was supposed to be today, now it's supposed to be tomorrow. And my question to the company, which I've yet to get an answer from, because probably it's very quick, is if they are going to mandate the vaccine for employees. If they are, I will not be working with them. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, obviously they're not going to mandate it for me because I'm a consultant for them, but I am not comfortable, and I will tell them this. If they say, yes, we are going to mandate it, then I will not take the client on because I am not comfortable doing that. Okay. I'm sorry, that's completely against my morals and my ethics. I'm certainly not going to be a hypocrite and say, I don't believe in it, but I'm going to tell other people in order to work there, they have to do it. So sorry. That's my choice. And I understand this is everybody's choice. Everybody has different circumstances. Okay. I mean, there's some people I completely get that will take it because that's the only way they're going to keep their job. I understand. But again, it's a choice. You know, that's all I've ever said about this whole thing. This is all my opinion, but this is all I've ever said about it. If you choose to, I'm totally fine with that, but you should also be able to choose not to. In a work situation, of course, that means you may choose not to work for that company anymore. It's still a choice. Okay. You know, it's a slippery slope that we get into if companies can start mandating things like this, because what's next? Oh, they're going to mandate that you work 50 hours a week. They're going to mandate that you work 6 days a week. They're going to mandate that you don't go to lunch anymore. You know, I mean, there's a multitude of things that can come up. This is a slippery slope. And I mean, again, if you remember why unions came into place, and I'm not exactly pro-union, but unions all came into place back in the 20s because employers were taking advantage of employees, and the unions put a stop to that and got vacation time and 40-hour work week and everything like that. So in that respect, yes, back in the day, unions were a very good thing. They made it so people could have some work-life balance. As for what unions have become ever since, I mean, they are basically holding companies hostage, and that I don't agree with. But, you know, greatest laid plans of mice and men. That's just kind of how it worked out. So we had that. Then the other fun one today, did anybody watch Potato Joe's speech that he was nearly 5 hours late for? You know, probably interrupted with his nap time. I got such a kick out of watching this guy lie out of, I mean, whoever wrote his speech was, because, you know, the guy's not capable of independent thought, but it was lie after lie after lie. And I loved when he came up, the funniest part was, well, when I took office, I inherited an economy that was in dire straits, yada, yada, in the worst case that it was since the Great Depression, or maybe back when we were during the Johnson administration. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, dumbass, you happen to remember the Great Recession that was, when you were vice president? Kind of forgot about that one, right? Okay. You know, here it is, you know, Joe can't remember what day it is. You know, he certainly couldn't remember the last great economic catastrophe on his watch. You know, let's forget about that one. You know, and then of course I just talked to all the people from the G7 and we're working with all these other countries to get this done. When in reality, what he did was told the G7, you're all on your own. We're doing our thing. You guys do yours. And he promised no help whatsoever to any other country to get people out of Afghanistan. Which, of course, leads us to the next issue, if you guys saw this one. I talked this morning about vetting people coming from Afghanistan. And, you know, of course, Joe is saying, we're going to, you know, do background checks on everybody and whatever. Okay, sure. So this is talking out of both sides of your mouth again. We're going to do background checks on everybody in the same sentence that he's saying these people came here with nothing but the clothes on their back. Okay. Do they have a passport on them? Do they have ID on them? Probably not. Okay. You know, I doubt there's a DMV in Afghanistan. Okay. But if they have some sort of ID, okay, great. Who are you going to do the background check for? The Taliban? That would be where you're going to be getting the information from. Okay, so what kind of background information are you going to get? Nothing. Okay, so if the person has no ID, he comes in here and says, my name is whatsoever. Let's imagine, I say I have no ID. Hi, my name's Jason Charles. Do I look anything like Angry Prepper? No, but do you have any idea anything different? If this is the first time you've ever seen me, who I am? No. Okay, that's kind of my point. But then, to make matters even worse and go exactly to what I said this morning, let's see, France, who took in refugees today, has already caught somebody who was a Taliban sympathizer posing as a refugee. Great Britain found somebody, I believe it was at Heathrow, who landed, who was on the no-fly list for his ties to, I believe, Al-Qaeda. I don't know if it might have been ISIS, okay? So there's two examples of two other countries that already, and we're a couple of days into this evacuation, that have already found people trying to infiltrate the country. Then, of course, the UN is screaming and yelling at Poland because Poland says we're not taking any refugees. And the UN is saying, oh, you have to. And Poland's like, hell no, we're not. Okay. Gee, there's a smart leader. Okay. Sorry. Like I said this morning, go to Turkmenistan, go to Tajikistan, go to Turkey, go to Pakistan, go to Iran, go to where. First country you get into is where you find asylum. This isn't, I'm leaving Afghanistan or I'm leaving Honduras. I get to go wherever I want. No, that's not how it works. So, yes, Purring Lady says Hungary is strong too. Yes, okay, they are also pushing back on any of this crap. Belarus is the big problem in this one. They're busing people over to the Polish border and telling people to walk and not letting them turn around. Okay, well, you know how that's done. It's like you turn around and you're looking at something you don't want to see, so you keep walking forward. Yeah, that's good old Lukashenko there. So, okay, that's end for my little soliloquy. Is interesting and boring. They all can be at the same time. But okay, so wanted to say good evening to my to everybody, but of course to my moderators. So Robert's here, Jacob's here, Lucky Dame is here, and North Shore is here, as per normal, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So I get a kick out of it. We already have 2 thumbs down, so my guess is there's already trolls in there, which my guess is they've already cleaned house from. So as usual, guys, keep it clean, keep it PG-13. Betsy, thank you for the super chat. You're most welcome for the videos. Keep it clean, keep it PG-13. We're going to talk about anything. I don't care. If you guys want to have a light night, we have a light night. If we want to get into hardcore stuff, we'll get into hardcore stuff. These Tuesdays and Saturday nights are for you guys. I just happen to be the face on the screen, but this is for you guys to talk about what you want to talk about, not just me to ramble on for another hour. You get sick of that all week as is anyway. So, as per normal, G2, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that super chat. Yeah, Mrs. P and I are kind of staying home, but yes, if we get a chance, we will go take her out before we can't. I appreciate that. We'll do something. But this is all for you guys. If you have questions for me, like I ask every week, and I just say this in case there's somebody new because the channel keeps growing, please put all your questions to me in capital letters. It makes it easier for me to read the computer screen, which is right below the camera here, so I can see what y'all want to talk about. If you're having conversations amongst yourselves, please do, okay? There's tons of people in here who know a lot of stuff that I don't know, okay? This place is all about sharing information. God knows I don't know everything. I ain't even close. I learn more from you guys than I teach. But, if they're for me, please put it in all caps. That just makes it a lot faster. I start from the top, go all the way to the bottom. I get through as many as I can. If you guys haven't heard me answer your question in 5 or 10 minutes, feel free to type it again. If I see it a second time, I'll just skip over it. But okay, it is almost 1:15, so let's get in and get 45 minutes of this done. So I will get to, wow, we had borscht for dinner, so I got heartburn. So yes, we actually tried the stuff we canned, so make sure it was okay and it came out fine. All right, so let me get to the top here. Oh yeah, just in case you guys want fun, they all always, what did you do for prepping today? This is what I've been doing for the last 2 days. I made 4 gallons of beer, 3.5 gallons of red wine, and 3 gallons of Applejack. That's what I've been doing. So my prep for the last 2 days has been making booze to store. Hey, you're gonna need it. It's, if you ain't gonna need it, it's gonna be barter too. So, all right, there you go. So there's a little bit of fun into the life in this crazy household. All right, so let's see where we are. Okay, get here. Hi, Nicole McGrath. Hi there. Do you think there will be another lockdown this fall? Yes, I do. Okay, I've said for a long time, I think it's going to happen around Labor Day. That probably going to be somewhere in September. Okay, I bet between Labor Day and October 1st. We're seeing everything that's going on in other countries, Australia and France and Great Britain, things like that. And if you've watched the path of this throughout the last 18 months, it just kind of keeps moving its way westward. Okay, so yeah, I still plan on seeing us another lockdown. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I will qualify this. How I see the lockdown, it's not going to be nationwide because the red states are not going to put up with it. But the blue states, yeah, or at least areas, you're going to have them. Let's say New York City, let's say Chicago, let's say all of California, okay? The coast of Oregon, whatever it is, half the East Coast, the coastal areas where it's all blue. Yeah, that I see. The middle of Kentucky, the middle of Texas, no, I don't, because the governors have already said it's not happening. The people won't put up with it, but there's plenty of people in these blue states who are afraid of their own shadow. They don't come out of their house, haven't for a year and a half. I mean, like I said, I was talking to Ed today, and he was telling me about somebody who, for the last year and a half, doesn't leave her house. She has her groceries delivered and stays home. She's afraid of her own shadow. Great way to go through life. You got to live while you got it. We're all going to be called home one day anyway. None of us know what day it is. Okay, could be tomorrow. But, like I said to Ed, I said, that's what drives me nuts. People are so afraid of, oh my God, if I go to Walmart, I might get COVID or something like that. And my answer to him, I said, do you realize that the driving from your house to Walmart, you have a higher chance of dying than you do when you're walking through Walmart and catching COVID? That's the logic that people don't get. So, you do things you have your entire life that have some sort of risk to it. There is no such thing as a riskless life. If it is, it isn't a life. So, okay. Scrolling. Lorna, elder abuse. Jill Biden should be ashamed. Yeah, did you see what Rachel Campos Duffy said on Fox? I guess this made the news. She was basically saying the same thing, and the White House came back and started trying to skewer her saying, no, Joe's fine and everything like that. And so there was a battle between the White House and Rachel Campos Duffy, so it's kind of interesting. Sweet Liberty, first responders in Jacksonville concerned about helping the unvaxxed. Then they are completely violating their oath. Because, I will give you this. First off, how do they know? Okay. Second off, you're in a burning building and the fireman comes and rescues you. He's not going through the house going, ma'am, have you been vaccinated? No, I haven't. Okay. Sir, have you been vaccinated? Yes, I haven't. So he goes and grabs the guy. First off, that's not how it works. Okay. Then you get, or a car accident or anything like that. They get the people out of the situation. Then you get the situations of what else? Do they ask the person, hey, do you have AIDS? Do you have syphilis? Do you have hepatitis? Whatever. No, their job is to go save people. That is it. So if these are first responders that are concerned about helping it, they have no business in that business and need to quit. That's it. They either need to quit or the city needs to fire them right now, because that is completely against any sort of oath that they take. Lisa Preps, Ohio legislature working on a law to make it illegal for companies to require the jab. I hope to God a lot of them do it, okay? And again, this is my opinion. Like I said at the top, this is your choice if you want to do it. And again, it's a company's choice whether they want to do it, okay? The company can make that decision. But what I don't want to hear from this company ever is, we can't hire anybody. Why can't we find people? You made your bed. There was actually, you've heard me say this all the time, can't think past the tip of their nose. And there was an article that came out today that I was reading that somebody was talking about. That's exactly what is going on with the whole 46 administration. They make these decisions based on these ideas of grandeur and never ever contemplate the consequences to their actions. Joe, I promised we'd get out of Afghanistan. Okay, you're getting us out of Afghanistan. Okay, how many people are going to die doing it? I have no idea. We lost 4,000 people there in 20 years, and I mean, there's more than that right now. We could lose that next week. Okay. Because if you don't get it done by the 31st and the Taliban says there's going to be consequences, we all know what those consequences are with the Taliban, okay? It's 2 rounds to the back of the skull, just like they did to that cop that the video was going around today, though that was probably about 50 rounds they filled him with. So, yeah, hopefully we get this done. Kevin, maybe China's blackmailing Potato. You must remain in power where we will unveil all. They're not blackmailing him. They've just got him in their back pocket. Remember, the big guy gets 10%. You don't think Joe's taking a cut from China? I mean, that's, completely. He's trying to sell the country to China, with the promise. Who knows? They're going to give him, an island in the South China Sea for his kids to raise their family. Who knows what it is? I mean, that's a joke, obviously. But yeah, I mean, Joe's in the back pocket of China right now. That's it. They own him. They're not blackmailing him. They've just got him. Flintstone Girl, I sent you a couple of emails. One was about the meeting. Did you receive them? Yes, because you mentioned your name in there. I emailed you back, so you should get that shortly after you got it. I mean, that was, early this afternoon, I think it was. So I had emailed you back on it. Check your email. See North Shore. Now I know what you're talking about not paying attention to the chat, because I don't have any time to look at what's going on other than capital letters. So yeah, you were absolutely right, what you were talking about last night. Wolfang, they are not checking these people. They say they are, but like I said, how? Okay, you can't. There is no way. Like I said, do I look like Jason Charles? But for all you know, I am. Yeah, Brandy F. Also, no masks at all in the Afghan footage. Of course, that's, again, the same with the southern border. Okay, no masks. They don't have employers, so I mean, how do you vaccinate them? But whatever would be. But yeah, I mean, again, there's a double standard, guys. We all know it. The hypocrisy out of this administration. If we thought Obama was bad for talking out of both sides of his mouth, somehow Biden's got 4 corners to his mouth, because he contradicts himself in the same sentence. I mean, which I can't understand how that's even possible, but somehow he's managed it. Donna Arthur, got my seeds today. Thanks. You are most welcome. I've heard from a lot of people. I'm surprised how fast they got them, because like I said, I sent them out from the post office on Tuesday, or on Saturday, and here it is, it's Tuesday. So, hey, what do you know? The post office actually got stuff somewhere in 2 days. Let's see. Laura Selzer, I believe Monkey's right. I'm assuming you mean Monkey Works. We're being invaded from the borders and boots on the ground, saying over 80% of the people being brought over are military-age men. Yeah. I mean, you look at all those pictures on the planes, and it's a majority of men, which, here's the silly thing. And Mrs. P and I were talking about this evening. She was watching Russian news on what's going on in Afghanistan. And just in case you want to do this, I know I mention him all the time, but it's great to hear another opinion. Constantine, YouTube channel Letters to King. He put out a fabulous video today on the Russian response to what's going on in Afghanistan. You gotta watch that, okay? It's probably about a 20-minute long video, but he made some great comparisons between what the Soviets did in the 80s and what we just went through, okay? So definitely video. But yeah, for what Monkey was saying, 80% of the people being brought over are military-age men. And like I said, Mrs. P and I were talking about this. Population of Afghanistan is about 13 million people. Okay. Population of the Taliban, who just took over the entire country in a week, is 80,000. Now, we all know what the Afghan military did after all these billions of dollars we've spent training them is they just dropped their weapons and ran away. So you have an entire country of cowards. Okay. They aren't willing to defend their own country. So they want to come to the United States, to France, to Great Britain, to Poland, to wherever. What good are they? If they're not willing to defend their own country, they certainly aren't going to be willing to defend their adopted country. So the only reason that they are going to any of these countries is so they can put their hand out and say, gimme. Because, like we've all talked about, majority of us will defend our home, defend our country till our dying breath. And you get all these people. What did Biden say in his speech today? I forget how many people he said, 13,000 or something like that. I mean, there were 13 planes or whatever, however many people we got up, just American planes, military. I mean, not including all the civilian planes. But I think it was like 13,000 people that got out of Afghanistan today. Didn't mention how many of them were Americans, so most of them were Afghanis. But there's 13,000 cowards that just ran away from their country where they outnumbered the enemy by about 20 to 1 and still ran away. We've already got enough Democrats. We don't need any more cowards in the country. So, Marie, you are welcome for the tomato seeds as well. And Dana, as you are as well. Lori Hyman, my first live with you, found you from the Angry Prepper. So you know exactly who I'm talking about when I say Jason Charles. Okay, well, welcome to the family over here, Lori. Lorna, Pinball, do you ever feel like not making a video, but do it so we won't drive you nuts? No, I enjoy making the videos because I'm a news hound and I'm obviously a prepper hound, I guess, if you want to use the term, but I'm doing this all day for myself anyway, okay? Finding out all this information, paying attention to what's going on, figuring out how it fits into preps, what the world events are, how to can stuff, do whatever it is. I mean, a lot of my free time is taken up somehow, some way in prepping. Believe it or not, it's what I enjoy to do, okay? It's how I relax. I don't stress over it. And so Mrs. P and I will talk about it a lot. And like I said, when I started the channel a year or so ago was, because there was a lot of good information that was being put out, but there was a lot of bad information that was being put out. And I wanted somewhere where people could go and get more good information. Like I've said to everybody, you don't have to agree with everything I say. I don't expect everybody to agree with everything I say. Take what is beneficial to you, use that, throw the rest in the toilet. And that's fine. Okay. I'm okay with that. As long as you're getting something out of it, I'm happy. But no, I don't ever make a video because I feel you guys would drive me nuts or something. I make a video because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy the fellowship that we all have via the computer. It makes me feel part of something, just like it makes you guys feel part of something. So no, there's never, ever an issue like that. Prep her. The healthcare system's about to break. No staff. What's your plan? I talked about that yesterday, I believe it was. We already have a nursing shortage in this country, okay, even before COVID. And like I said, last year, nurses, doctors, first responders, whatever, were being hailed as heroes. Okay, you had ticker tape parades for them. People would go out at noon every day and applaud or whatever time shift change was or whatever for all these people. A year later, without them doing anything differently, except now having a year's more experience and now having experience dealing with COVID, now all these medical professionals are persona non grata. They're the enemy because, oh my God, if they don't believe in, what the Biden administration tells them, they're terrorists. So yeah, that becomes a big problem. And I've said, like I said in the video, it's going to be, I'll give it 3, 4, 5 months And companies, including hospitals, are going to be screaming for people going, why can't we get anything? And everybody's going to go, stop requiring this and I'll come back to work. And that's, like I said, consequences, can't think past here. That's exactly what's going to happen. Mark my words that when companies are going, gee, we can't do, we're losing business or we can't hire employees. 40% of the country, guys, is, like-minded. Let's put it that way. No business in the world goes, yeah, I want to alienate 40% of my customers, or I want to reduce the chances of my employees by 40%, and thinks, oh, that's a good business decision. Okay. Name one business that goes, yay, we lost a bunch of customers and a bunch of employees this week. That's good. Okay. If you saw, it's already starting as quick as it is. There's, a Reddit group or something like that from Apple employees that are now bitching about how woke the company is. These are people that work for Apple. Not a whole lot of employees from Apple that aren't liberal, but now you have all the Apple employees bitching about how woke the company is and it's gone too far. Okay. Palm Tree Prepper, great question. How do you ride the line between not getting the shot and staying gray man? And again, this is going to depend on everybody's situation. Each person's going to be different, okay? Like I said at the top, if it's a choice, okay? And there's going to be some people that are going to make the lesser of two evils choice and go, okay, I got to feed my family, therefore I'm going to take the risk of getting the shot. And I can respect that, okay? There's other people that are going to say, I don't need to take the risk. I'm not going to. I'd rather take the risk of figuring out a different way for income, okay? That's me. Fortunately, this is the benefits of getting all our bills paid and not owing anything. But yeah, that's a real tough question because they want to put the yellow star of David on everybody. That isn't. It's going to be kind of hard to see. So the best idea is to stay gray until they force you to admit the other side. Okay. And, as long, you can always answer, have you got the shot? Have you? You don't have to answer, guys. There's no law anywhere that says you have to answer any question that is given to you. You're not in court. You're not under oath. Somebody, you walk into Walmart and they say, have you got the shot? And you go, have you? If they go, yeah, great, congratulations, and keep walking. You don't have to answer their questions. There's nothing that says you're required to. Sandra Templeton, you are welcome for tomato seeds again. Just trying to catch, whoops, we just shot to the bottom. Scrolling back up. Okay. A leak for him. Any word on whether the Moderna vaccine will be, I haven't heard a word about it, so I do not know. CNC Bluebird 89. Do you think Mississippi will start charging or jailing citizens they feel should quarantine? That came out in the news today that they are going to do that. If somebody in Mississippi tests positive, they are required to quarantine for 10 days. Otherwise, the city/state will fine them or jail them. Yay. CKOC, drug companies and White House staff are not mandated to get the jab. Isn't that funny how the Pfizer CEO has not got it and Fauci's totally cool with that? Figure that one out, okay? And again, you think about everything that goes on in Washington. We watched all the fake plungers. We watched all the needles that weren't there, and whatever was, who knows what was saline and what wasn't, okay? So, I'm sorry, you lie to the people enough, it's Chicken Little. You keep lying, and eventually nobody believes you. Congratulations, Joe. You have lied so much in the first 7 months of your presidency, nobody believes you anymore. Yeah, EV3 Dale, Russia says no way they'll take refugees. They say they know better. Kind of the point of my video this morning, which, like I said, a lot of people thumbs down that one. I mean, the funny part with that one is where I said, Biden or Putin, people were taking that too literally, which I thought was kind of humorous because they completely missed the point of the whole video. The point of the video was, do you want somebody, i.e. Putin, who puts his countrymen first, or did you want somebody like Biden who puts their countrymen last? Okay, that was the comparison. Nowhere was I saying, I want Putin to be president of the United States. I have no intention of moving to Russia. Okay, it was just a point to, a good way for me always to make a point has been able to give an absurd opposite idea. That's what this was. Biden is an absurd on one side, Putin's an absurd on the other side. Don't want either one of them, but at least one of them, A, is smart and cares about his people. That was the point of the video. Those who thought I wanted Putin, okay, sorry. Let's see. Wrentail, whitetail, what do I think of the black lights, street lights? I live out in the country, okay? The one street light here, I'm surprised isn't still a gas light, so I haven't seen any black lights, street lights. I know what you're talking about, to make your t-shirt glow in the dark or whatever it is. But I really have no thought on them. Let's see. Julie Otten, do I think all this crap will go on till 2023 or 2024? Well, considering good old Fauci came out today and said we won't have this under control until spring of 22, backtracking where he said in another interview that it'd be fall of 2022 before we had it. Of course, the media, the MSNBCs and the CNNs were panicking because they're like, oh, you can't say that because we can't go into the next election without this taken care of because Biden will get his ass handed to him. Yeah, because it's a complete failure. But, Fauci is only concerned about his paycheck. So, he needs this to last until, he dies. It'll be 2039 and we'll still be talking about this and Fauci will still be there with his cane and his wooden teeth going, it's still there, guys. The guy's the biggest fake since Mickey Mouse, Overwatch. Have you seen any change in the voting process that would make you have any faith in it? Well, this is where let's put it this way. I've seen change that make me have less faith in it. Okay. And I'll explain this. We all know this infrastructure bill that Nancy Pelosi is trying to push through the House. Okay, we had the $1 trillion one that they want to vote on that the Senate put over, but Nancy's got this $3.5 trillion one that they want to put together with it. And there's moderate Democrats that say they won't vote on both. They want them separate. So she can't get the votes in the House. However, in that bill, infrastructure, guys, mind you this, okay, like I told you before, 91% of it is not on infrastructure projects, okay? 9% is, okay? $3.5 trillion, 9%, okay? Think about that. It's about $3 billion. The rest of it's all wasted, okay? Pork. But in that bill, they wanted to go back to the 1965 Voting Rights Act and give federal authority for states to change parts of their voting rights. Okay, so like when these states are saying, no longer are we going to do mail-in ballots, no longer are we going to have extended early voting or anything like that. In this bill says that the federal government will approve or disapprove the states to be allowed to do that. Who's in charge of the federal government right now? The Democrats, House, Senate, and White House. So any of these traditional red states or purple states that want to make voting rights more legitimate, the Democrats obviously are going to say, no, you can't do that. We need to keep them more crooked. So Yeah, in that respect, no, I haven't seen anything that have make more faith in it. I've seen something that's going to make me have less faith in it. The only hope that I think we have, and it frustrates me every time I hear somebody say, I'm never going to vote again, because, I mean, if there's one thing you have to do as a citizen of this country is vote, okay? It frustrates the crap out of me when people don't vote, because you don't want to vote, go move to Afghanistan. You can have the Taliban take over, and you don't have any say in the matter, okay? But the only way that I think that we have a chance here is if the Democrats lose their ass so big that there is no way to cheat it, okay? You know, it can't be a 51-49 vote. It's got to be a 65-35 or something like that. That's the only way, you know, where they're going to have to bring in hundreds of thousands of fake ballots, and it's just not going to be possible to do that much, okay? Okay. Vicky Savage, the American military taught the Afghan military to be incompetent. I don't think they had to teach him. I think the Afghan military had that one pretty much in hand. Handyman Prepper, Pinball, are you still prepping silver? Can you send me some of that Applejack? Yes, I am still prepping silver. I just got more of it earlier, end of last week. Down here at this 23 and change, it is cheap. So yes, I'm still putting it away because, you know, I'll give you this, guys. All right. You have $23 today. $20 bill and 3 singles, okay? The price of silver goes up to $24 tomorrow. That silver is now $24. Those 3 greenbacks are still 23, okay? If you look over the course of time, if you go back, I think it's 2000? If you go back 20 years, okay? If you bought $20 worth of $20 bill, $20 worth of silver, that $20 worth of silver is now worth something like $100. That $20 bill is still worth $20. Okay. So, you know, yes, I'm buying. It's not a trade. It's not a get rich quick thing. It's something I put in the safe. It goes in with important documents. It goes in with the passports. It doesn't go in with the mortgage because that's gone. And it's left there. Okay. And it sits. And like I tell Mrs. P, I said, if anything, it's emergency savings because, yes, it's still liquid. I can still get online with a dealer and sell it and have money in a week. I can still take it to a coin shop or a pawn shop and cash it in if I need to. It's emergency savings. But right now, it's something that I can use as a hedge against inflation going forward and as currency in a shit hits the fan event. So, yes. Right. No, I'm not sending you any Applejack. Let's see. Brandy F., when do we stop being the peacekeepers? Again, this is going to be something maybe y'all agree with, maybe you don't. Okay, and like I said, if you don't, that's fine. Take what you will, take what you don't. Okay. My belief has always been as an isolationist. Okay. I've said this in a video before. The United States is the only self-sufficient nation on the face of the earth. We don't need anything from anybody else. Okay. And I know everybody's saying, well, we need rare earths or whatever it is. No, we'll just figure out a different way to make stuff. Okay. You know, the computers that you were buying 10 years ago and 20 years ago had a hell of a lot more gold in them than they do now. That's why your computers have come down so much in cost. Why? Because they figured out a way to make the semiconductors and stuff without the gold. Okay. Same thing. So we don't necessarily need all the rare earths. Gee, lithium batteries. You think somebody might come up with another technology for batteries that might be better? Who does that? Always. Americans. Most of the innovation in the world comes out of the United States. Most of the food in the world comes out of the United States. Okay. Certainly we can produce enough oil for the United States. We don't need anybody else. So why in the hell are we peacekeepers? The only thing we should worry about, in my opinion, is Americans. You want to put the military, put all your military posts on the borders and say, okay, ain't nobody coming in the United States unless we say so. The end. I don't see a problem with it. The rest of the world needs us. We don't need the rest of the world. Catholic Homesteaders, thank you for the super chat. You know, some people disagree with me, and that's totally fine. That's just my Personal belief. Donna Southwood, did you and Mrs. P get my package? I got a couple of them this week with, let's see, what did I get? But here's the problem. I got 3 packages this week, and none of them had names in them. So there were 2 packages of seed packets. One was the little brown ones that a lot of you got your seeds in, because I used those to send seeds out. Another one was a little package of plastic seed packets, which I've still got, okay, because they were harder to open. The brown paper ones work quicker. And then somebody sent me a canning funnel, okay? So appreciate all of them, but I have no way to say thank you, guys, if there's no name in them. It just doesn't happen. So, but those things I did get, so everybody who sent that stuff, I do thank you. So Donna, if one of those was yours, yes, I did. If it wasn't, then no, I didn't. Best I can answer you. The way home. Why do I believe there are good guys in government? Because I'm an optimist, okay? I cannot believe that everybody in Washington is there, or in state capitals or anything like that, is Satan reincarnate, okay? Yeah, if they're a Democrat, they're definitely Satan reincarnate. If they're a rhino, definitely, okay? I'm sorry, you're never going to hear me say a good word about Mitt Romney, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, you know, any of those, okay? I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. They are traitors to their country. There are good ones. Some of them are occasionally good. You know, Lindsey Graham can sometimes be great. Otherwise, he can be just a complete piece of shit, okay? Ted Cruz, same way. I mean, there are good ones. I mean, I like my 2 senators, Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty, okay? They both seem to have a good head on their shoulders and their heart's in the right place. Does it mean always? No. Why? Because ain't nobody in this world that's perfect, okay? And there's no 2 people in this world that think exactly the same. I don't agree with everything they say. I agree with most of it. But like I said, Mrs. P doesn't agree with everything that I say. That's fine. Doesn't mean I love her any less. And I don't expect anybody to agree with everything I say, because that's what goes on in this squirrel cage. It doesn't have to go on in everybody's. But yes, I believe there are good people in government, and there are good people in the military, but there are good people in the police department, okay? But there are a few bad ones, and those are the ones that we need to get rid of. You know, Liberty Off-Road Pinball, I joined up late this evening. Did I talk about the Russian ammo import ban? Should we snatch up tool ammo ASAP? I talked about this in a video the other day. You know, and like I said, I talked to Constantine, was it Saturday, Sunday, about the sanctions put on Russia. Okay, you know, okay, they can't sell weapons here. Great, we don't buy most of our Kalashnikovs and AKs and stuff like that from Russia. They're usually coming from somewhere else. But the Russian ammo, yeah, is Russian ammo. It's all the steel case stuff, which personally I don't like, because the stuff is filthy, okay? But it's cheaper, okay? So that's why people do buy it. As Constantine said, he goes, you know, the sanctions are just political lip service. I mean, one of them is, okay, we're not going to send any nuclear weapons or nuclear material or whatever between Russia and the United States. A big freaking deal. You know, Hillary's not the Secretary of State anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. But, yeah, if you honestly think that that's going to matter, gee, what happens? You know, if they make the ammo in Russia and then they ship it to pick somewhere, India, and then you buy it from their Indian subsidiary. Who cares, okay? It's not going to come from Russia at that point. They just put one more step in the supply chain. Big freaking deal. I don't personally like the stuff. I'd rather buy brass, okay? I'd rather buy reman brass than I would brand new steel case brass. But I'd rather be firing my weapon and not cleaning it all the time. You know, steel case works fine for an AK because the thing can fire filthy, but an AR, it needs to be cleaned. Deborah Atkins, why do they keep saying we will get out every American that wants to get out? Will they blame the stranded for not communicating their desire to leave? Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. They are trying to create an excuse at the end. we'll get every American that wants to get out. You tell me one American that's over there right now goes, hey, cool, you know what? I want to be here with my wife so my wife can get, taken from me. I can get shot and she can get married off to one of these jihadists. Yeah, because there's I want my daughter to be married off to one of these guys. She's 12. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. They don't know what's going on. The White House cannot give you an accurate count of how many Americans are over there because they don't know. And the stupid part was, this will tell you how idiotic Jen Psaki is. Well, we don't know how many people are over there because either they didn't tell us they were coming in or they were going out. Dumbass. Passport records. Yeah. If anybody's leaving the United States, you have to have a record of where they went. You can check anybody's passport record and where it went. You've all got them electronically, guys. You can figure out exactly how many Americans are over there by the passport records. But, hey, you're only the Ministry of Propaganda for the Biden administration. Why would you know that? Let's see. Pam Fury learned a lot about canning this year, too, thanks to my prepper community. You and me both. Again, Lisa over at Sutton's Days is still my go-to. Let's see, where are we? One Kentucky moonrunner. My wife is about to walk out of the VA hospital, head of radiology unit. Jeez. There's a perfect example of, this is what's going to happen. The hospitals, businesses as a whole, pick one, are going to lose a ton of employees as soon as these mandates start coming down. They're going to, screw you, I'm out. And the companies go, now what do we do? I mark my words. I bet you that they are going to rescind all these mandate orders that come out of companies by spring. I'd say by 6 months. Okay, that would be my guess. If you can make it through the 6 months, maybe you get called back. But by then, people are going to probably have found other jobs, and then they're going to go, no, we can't find anybody to work here either. Gee, sorry, you made your bed, now lie in it. Joseph, what are my thoughts on gas and propane prices getting close to winter? I did that whole video this morning on this channel about the Axis of Evil getting the band back together. Expect the price of everything to go through the freaking roof. Because if you've got Russia, China, and Iran all doing naval exercises in the Persian Gulf, along with the Americans that are in the Persian Gulf, that's a recipe for trouble. And if you have the Russians, the Chinese, and the Iranians all decide to put a blockade in the Gulf, guess what doesn't come to the U.S.? Oil. That's what's going on, guys. Healthy disrespect for authority. What do you think the real numbers are for those fully jabbed? I couldn't even begin to guess. I don't know. I've kind of got to go with what the official numbers are. Whether or not they're true or not, I have no clue, but I have nothing else to base any sort of guess on. I can pull a number out of thin air, but that would be all it is. And I kind of like to have a little bit of factual information for what I talk about. Let's see. EV3 Dale, buy land in the woods and build a cave. Well, Mother Nature'd build a cave, but yeah, buy land in the woods. I'll agree with you there. North Shore Pinball, how much dehydrated water do you keep in your bob? Well, the only way and you were asking about this last night, and I never really got to chime in though, but the only effective way I've ever found to store dehydrated water is in a paper bag. It's the only way it's any good. Okay, let's see. Truck drivers think supply chains and go get propane. Yes, Jason Kincaid is correct there. Lucky Dame saying halftime and it's 7 minutes to 9. I'm slow tonight. Let's see. COVID pinball machine for the Survival Village arcade. Admiral Tricorn. Smart ass. Yeah, that'd be if we had electricity, right? Let's see. Charlie Lobb, to stay gray, downplay any and all conversations dealing with all things political. I'd probably have nothing to talk about all day. So if you see a guy standing around not talking, that would be me. At least in your scenario. because pretty much 90% of what comes out of my mouth somehow is political anymore. Let's see. Did it just shoot to the bottom on me? Might have. Yep, it did. Okay, so I'm going to try to find where we are here and go through some. William Witten just sent me an email. Yeah, I've got 7 of them sitting in there right now since we started, so there's a few of them there. Denise Doodles, how do you find like-minded people without exposing yourself? I did a video on this probably about 6 months ago, and this is where your observation skills are going to come into play. You know, if you see somebody who's got a large garden, if you see somebody who's raising chickens or goats or something, if you see somebody that seems to be unloading a lot of groceries from their car or is unloading groceries from their car 3 or 4 times a week, you might want to strike up a conversation, okay? It's going to be your observation skills. You find somebody who's out on the range, maybe you start the conversation with them, hey, what brand ammo are you using or something like that, or, like your pistol or like your rifle or everything like that, strike up a conversation about something that is currently there. Guy's over there, got a great garden. He's growing tomatoes and whatever it is. I don't care if you got the world's perfect tomatoes. Walk over and say, man, I saw your tomatoes. What the hell are you doing that I'm not? I'm putting Epsom salts in there. I use this kind of fertilizer. So I'm like, what do you do with all those tomatoes? Oh, I can all those tomatoes. Bingo. Now you've got an opening. Okay. So it's all about being observant. Or coming to October 16th and just meeting a whole bunch of people that want to show up and say, hi, I'm here. Vicky Savage, perfect. When 2 people agree on absolutely on everything, one of them's unnecessary. Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Has Jubal 121, Trump coming out pro Jabberwocky, definitely not pro Trump 2024. Actually, it's the other way around. He was very pro jab here probably up until about a month ago, and now he's kind of softening to be a little bit more pro-choice. So, because he was on the train, going, gotta get it, until the people started telling, Alex Jones called him an asshole. But yeah, I think he finally realized that a lot of his supporters were like, and so he changed his tune, turning into a politician. Go figure. I don't think he's running in 2024 anyway. So, he'll talk it up and hype it up and keep himself in the public eye. That's what he is. The guy's a showman. Okay. But I don't think he's going to run. Jamie Lee, what is going on October 16th? Must have missed it. We are doing a prepper get-together here in Knoxville at a city park. I've got the whole park rented out, so it's only going to be all of us. As of before we started, so far I've got 187 people that have RSVP'd through most of the Southeast, a lot of people coming from the Northeast, the Midwest, actually got some people coming from Wyoming and Idaho. So Texas, whole 9 yards. So we've got, a lot of, all of y'all are getting together with me, and we're just going to have a big get together the afternoon for a chance to meet each other, make connections, talk, learn, share ideas, do whatever. Just have a good time and meet some like-minded people face to face rather than doing it all here through a computer screen. So, and it's an hour away from Pigeon Forge and Dollywood. So if you want to go make a weekend out of it and go see, I just totally lost name, trying to thought on what the name of the town is down there. Crap, I can't even think about it. Okay, you guys can make fun of me on this one. I don't even know what the hell it is. Big tourist attraction down there. I'll think of it. It'll pop in my head here in a second when I'm talking about something else. But we are close to the end, and I don't want to spend time thinking. Robert Bates, pinball, video getting blurry. I don't know. Maybe it's your eyes. That's nothing different here. So phone still works, computer still works, everything's good there. Walt H, another country will pick up the steel 762 or Russia will go third party. Exactly. That's what'll happen there. They'll just ship it through somewhere else. China will ramp up its production of steel case. Sure. EV3 Dale, not really. Lots of people fire 1,000 rounds of Tula without cleaning or functioning issues in ARs. Good for them. I'm not trusting a weapon that's that dirty. Uh, Catgirl66. Besides me, what's Mrs. P's favorite things about America? Either her corgi or hamburgers. One of the two. I guarantee it's one of those two things. Let's see. We've got 1 minute. Brian Keith. Okay, that's for him. Walt H. A food sealer is a must-have and lots of bags. Yes, great thing to have. I mean, for your frozen goods, things like that. Absolutely. Brandy F. When we live in other countries, Americans pay taxes to whom? You still pay taxes to the United States, believe it or not, guys. Unless you rescind your citizenship, you'll have to pay taxes to the country that you live in and to the United States. So, little thing people don't know. Debbie Bird, is there camping at the meet? There's hotels around. I don't know if there is a KOA campground or something like that. Certainly not at the city park. You can't or whatever. But like I said, around Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, there's the town. There is plenty of camping areas and stuff like that. That's about an hour away. But this is right along the highway where we're going to meet. You're maybe 3/4 of a mile off the highway, off of 640. So there's easy access, and we're on the east side of town. So you're heading toward North Carolina to get there. There's going to be camping areas somewhere. I don't know how close. This is all an hour away from me, and I mean, the only thing I know over there is the one mall that it's nearby, because not like I travel down there that often unless I need to go to the mall, which I'm a guy. How often do you think that happens? So, all right, guys, 1 minute after 9. I believe Angry Prepper is starting. So if y'all want to head over there, have a great evening, and we will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Pinball out.